So shooters and reloaders, Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone. I just came back from Harbor Freight where I picked up some of this powder coat yellow. Now I know I told you that the red is the best and the white is so-so and the yellow probably isn't as good as the red, but I think it's important to go ahead and try the yellow because who knows, might work out real well. And for some other users of Harbor Freight yellow, they report that it works okay. Well, let's find out. Well, first thing we have to do is empty the red out of our tumbler. So I'll just pour that into the aluminum foil and then back into the jar it goes. Of course, we wear a respirator and gloves to do this work. Now you notice all it takes is a dry towelette to clean up the tumbler. Just wipe the powder out. It's in this towelette. It's easy. Just like wiping off the inside of the cover cap. Then we take the Harbor Freight yellow and pour it in. That's plenty. Now we'll add the bullets. Now the bullets are these fine 255 grain round nose flat points made by Lee Molds. 6 cavity mold. We'll go ahead and pour in a good number of these, say about 250 or so. Now since these bullets are heavier, we can't use as many of them at a time. So now we'll run the tumbler. This is typical. It's going to take about 15 or 20 minutes of tumbling to get that powder to stick reliably. Some of them are fighting the powder sticking. So we'll go ahead and run that, come back. So shooters and reloaders, I can see the problem already. And that is we're getting a coating alright, but the coating is so thin that it's not going to give us that nice yellow color that we like, that we would like. So you see that coating is still allowing the color of the red to come through, so it's not going to be a happy result with one coat. And doing more than one coat is not a good idea. It's a lot of time wasted and it causes blotchiness and a coating that's not nice and thin. We want the thin, so if we can get the thin to be acceptable, we're going to be okay. So we can't tell until we actually run the first batch. The oven is heating as we speak. Okay, that's about 20 minutes of tumbling, and you see that we actually have an even coating. It's just very thin, and it may not cover enough to give us the nice yellow. But we're not going to get better covering or better coating than that with this powder by doing any kind of shake and baking type of system with a hand shaking. The vibratory tumbler gives us the best chance of getting the coating on these bullets reliably. Well, let's go ahead and run these. So there they are with all the loose powder and clumps shaken off of them. That's the big part of this procedure, and that is to make sure that you've shaken it enough to get rid of the clumps and the powder collections. This gives us a nice thin powder coating that doesn't make the bullets a lot thicker and will still do the job preventing leading and doing all the good things that powder coating does. And best chance for accuracy because we're not getting a lot of thickness of the powder coat. So shooters and reloaders out there, again, the beauty is we're tumbling the second batch while the first batch is in the oven. Yes, we're doing this at night and the skies are threatening rain, but we don't let that stop us because we're all-weather casters and all-weather powder coaters. Well, there they are out of the oven, and That's not too bad. We can probably go ahead and be fairly happy with the Harbor Freight yellow, don't you think? They're still pretty hot. I'm going to let them cool off just a little bit. Then we're going to throw them onto the cement floor and get them all separated. Now, if you rub these too early to separate them, you'll take the gloss off the powder coat. You won't take the powder coat off, but you'll disturb the gloss. So we'll let them cool a little bit before we start to rub them to separate them. That way we won't bother the gloss. You'll notice that some of my other bullets that were powder coated have some dullness to them. That's because I rubbed them a little on the early side. Now, if you wait too long to rub them, what will happen is some of them will stick together, so you gotta kind of find the right balance to make your move. So shooters and reloaders, there they are on the floor all separated out, and we didn't lose one of them. Doesn't look like we're gonna have very many rejects, maybe one or two for thick powder coating, but no more than that. Let's go ahead and run the second batch. So into the basket it goes. Now, those of you who value the appearance more than the performance, you might want to go ahead and do 2 or 3 coats to get the yellow you want. But you're going to wind up with a lot thicker powder coating. Not necessary. Notice the gloss on that bullet. Notice the gloss on the nose. Notice the gloss on the base. What you have here is a thinly coated powder coat. Now, if it helps to think of this as being a clear coat with some yellow mixed in, well, that's what you got, and it's all okay. It's fine. But if you like to have the yellow like that right there, that little spot right there, have that all over, well, you gotta do a lot more work to do it. And if you want to do that, well, by all means. These bullets cool off very quickly. Now notice the quality of that thinness. And if you look carefully, you'll see the detail of all the grease grooves and the little corners all there. So that we didn't really add a lot of thickness to these bullets. They're going to load just fine without sizing. I know a lot of you are going to ask whether I'm going to size these or not, and the answer is no. No need to do that, because our guns are the best sizing die there is. The only reason why we need to size these is if they do not chamber, because they're so big they won't even function. Well, when we load these, you're going to notice that you won't even get a lot of bulge of the case. When you don't get a bulge of the case, you're good, you're home. Well, shooters and reloaders, there's our production. Took about an hour and a half to get it all done, and now it's dinner time, so I'm gonna clean up and have a nice dinner, thanks to Trisha, and there we go. The reports of the Harbor Freight yellow being awful are not well founded. Now, the reports of the Harbor Freight yellow being okay, well, that depends on how critical you are. I think these are more than okay. I like these, and if they shoot as well as they look, we're gonna like them even more. Bye for now.